Joining me in the studio now is Bob Galyen. He's here to talk all about BEVs. Bob, I really need you to give me a lay of the land when it comes to batteries.
I'll be happy to do that, Gina. So if you look at how the manufacturing is done, you have to scale up to the gigawatt level to make it cost effective for making good electric vehicle batteries. And the two predominant today are lithium iron phosphate batteries, and another is nickel manganese cobalt oxide type of batteries that make up the active materials of the batteries. But then they're packaged into a plethora of cells that go into a common array that we call a battery pack. And it's very important quality-wise that they are the best batteries that can be made, because you need to work in the parts per billion failure rates if you want to be successful in the world of batteries.
Where can computer-aided engineering best factor into the design process?
Clearly, the development of computer-aided engineering has transpired in my lifetime. It's been a remarkable transformation. Back in the 1970s, when I was still going to college, I used a slide rule, and then we got a hand calculator, and then we went into computers.
Yeah.
So you can imagine from the 1970s, late 1970s, to where we are today, the massive improvements that we've seen in computer and the speed of the computer, as well as the software and the understanding of how algorithms work. And now the invention of artificial intelligence is translating into enormous breakthroughs in battery technology, as well as other fields of endeavor in the scientific disciplines.
How do you balance forging boldly ahead on these new ideas, new technologies, but also balancing safety at the same time?
It takes a great deal of experience to find what I call the gotchas. Gotchas are those things that you don't see when you're developing a new technology. Until you put them in the application, you don't know how they're going to behave. And this is why many of the battery manufacturers and the car manufacturers are very careful that they take the product into limited production launches in order for them to get that exposure of the new products to the way people are going to use the products in the market. So that is a basic premise, that you can develop all you want until you put it in the field and put it against what all the people that will use it for, you won't find all the problems.
That's a really good point. I mean, people are predictable to some degree, but sometimes societal trends or something comes along that shifts the way that people use technology. So what's the next step in making this mainstream?
We're already seeing it. We call it the electrification movement. If you stop and think about where batteries are used, it's almost in every product we make today, whether it's a handheld device like a cell phone, a tablet, a computer, in entertainment type of devices, all the way up to military applications, where departments of defense around the world are developing battery technologies in conjunction with battery manufacturers and themselves, because the warfighter, there's almost nothing that he takes to the battlefield that he uses as a part of his armament that isn't powered by a battery. Night goggle vision systems, sighting systems on their rifles, health monitoring systems, short-range telecommunications, long-range communications, and so on, as well as uplinks for GPS and identification for locations. So it's enormously important to Department of Defense around the world.
Well, thank you for addressing it with me today, Bob. Enjoy the rest of your week here in Detroit.
Appreciate it.